Our CBS 21 political insiders, Tony May and Charlie Giroux, join us live in the studio. Guys, thank you for being here.
This week you have some splaining to do, I think. The governor signed a budget, but in this venue last week and over
I
the weekend
predicted that the Pirates would be in first place.
Tony, this is what I love about not making predictions, because when we're wrong, we have to come in here and do some splaining. But when we're right, we do not get asked to come in here and tell folks how brilliant we are.
Oh, come on, we always have you back to do that. But the governor didn't get any of his other big three bills that he wanted attached to the budget.
Right.
Charlie,
the budget.
You're close to the governor. Do you have any reaction?
Not yet, and frankly, it's a little bit of a problem for him because the leverage that he has during the budget process and negotiations is now gone. And so you've got to ask yourself what will be different in the fall than what was here in the spring. Yeah, the pressure's taken off. My sense is that if he can somehow decouple liquor privatization from transportation, he'll get the transportation piece and get it pretty quickly. This thing was derailed. I mean, frankly, he was going to go 3-0 on Saturday morning. By Saturday night, he was going 0 for 3. That's a pretty big swing, and it hinged on the Democratic leadership in the House saying we're not going to put up the votes for transportation as long as liquor privatization is around.
Is that the case, Tony?
Yeah, I think there were too many things put on the table. It wasn't just simply the issue of transportation, but it was the issue of transportation and then labor management relations added into it, which lost them some votes on the Democratic side. But I think that transportation would have passed on its own merits had it not been coupled to the liquor bill, because that did force Democrats in the House who needed to take a stand as a unit in order to prevent the passage of the liquor bill to resist passage of anything. And I think that Charlie's right. In the fall, I mean, we're going to see perhaps over the summer some bridges be weight limited, as they should be, because you can't do the maintenance.
Or closed.
Or closed. What I was just going to say. We talked to the transportation secretary, and he said we're this close to closing lanes, closing bridges.
So how is this going to affect the transportation?
People will see, you know, that there are consequences for not passing the transportation budget, not having the increased construction and rehabilitation of the roads. On the liquor side, it's hard to see how they're going to build up a head of steam again without the deadline of the budget coming up.
Is liquor dead?
This is the farthest they've gone with any kind of liquor
and again, you've still got a live bill sitting out there that needs to be acted on. And if somehow the governor can, over the summer, gin up the popular support that exists out there and get them activated, mobilized, calling their legislators, seeing them at picnics, talking to them across the back fence or wherever, and convince locally legislators that there is public pressure for this, he can win in the fall.
Could and should the governor have not signed this budget and put the pressure on them and said, no, you got to come back?
There's brinksmanship, and then there's crazy brinksmanship. That would have been crazy brinksmanship, and Frank, I think, would have run against everything that he stood for and worked so hard for. This is a good budget. The governor can be rightly proud of it. It builds jobs for Pennsylvania. It creates economic growth for Pennsylvania. This is another Corbett budget that is a huge success and passed on time.
Tony, your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the one thing that the governor is resistant to doing, he's a good government governor. He doesn't like to do deals. He doesn't like to make bargains. He, I think, unwillingly was put in the position of trying to do a grand bargain, get a trifecta, all these bills wrapped together. It didn't go well. I think it's going to reinforce his instinct to try to get things passed strictly on their merits and not do deals.
All right. Guys, thank you. Tony May, Charlie Giroux, our political insiders. You want to say something.
Happy 4th. Okay. We're not going to be back till then, so happy 4th.
Happy 4th of July to y'all as well. And you can see our political insiders every Tuesday on CBS 21 News at 5:30.